What if the scraps and screw-ups of our careers is where the real seeds of possibility lie?
We offer up the muddy mess to showcase that nothing is wasted. Every experience counts and creates the conditions for new life and growth.
Here is artist Paul Rucker's contribution to the shit pile. One of the questions, Paul, that we like to ask every single one of our guests is about the sort of manure of life experiences where sometimes out of the shittiest moments comes significant growth and almost new life at times. And I'm just wondering if you can think of a moment that is one of these kinds of shit pile moments where it really was this messiness that led to something remarkable.
Every day. every every day there's little poops every day. There's major moments. Yeah. I'm not sure if it led to the growth. I was in 8th grade going to this all-state orchestra in Charleston, South Carolina. We were supposed to team up in pairs of 2, and we were going to stay in different houses. We had host families. And when it was time to go home, this family came up to me and the other gentleman. He says, "Yeah, we can only take one. We'll take him," the white guy that was with me. The people knew that they were supposed to take 2, and they didn't want to take me. So I ended up staying with the orchestra director. And it made me really sad to the point where it affected me the next day. I was projected to be, high ranking, at least second chair, possibly first chair. I screwed up the audition. I couldn't count. I couldn't think. I ended up going to 8th chair. It was probably the first time I experienced racism like that, where I was denied entry into a house. But it made me aware that it did exist. I'm a classical musician. This goes back to my classical bass playing. Black people were discriminated against. I would play auditions and not get the role. I played what I thought was one of the most perfect auditions I ever played for a symphony in South Carolina. I was already a member of the South Carolina Philharmonic. I got my chops up, but I auditioned, and it was a covered screen up into the very last audition. You take the screen away, and that's the audition I did not get past.
Paul has channeled this pain and the thousands of microaggressions he has experienced into a mission of noticing and paying attention to little things, especially the little pieces of history missing from our curricula.
I feel like I'm on a mission, not about me. It's about us being a little nicer to each other by using examples of what happened in the past. Also wanted to tie that we have to make decisions based on knowledge around where we've been and what happened first, chicken or egg. And there's a chicken or egg scenario with the neo-Nazi or Nazi movement, because the United States influenced the Nazi movement, the Jim Crow era. They influenced eugenics. They influenced lynching and torture and forced sterilization using genocide because of the eugenics movement. And we can't forget that the eugenics movement was supported by Alexander Graham Bell, Nikola Tesla, Margaret Sanger, Helen Keller, John D. Rockefeller. I can go on and on and on. And the captains of industry and people who were in power. And these are all the same people who didn't believe women should drive, including women who didn't believe women should drive. There was an anti-suffragist movement led by women. They had their own group. They did not believe women should have the right to vote. And I often ask, I won't put you on the spot unless you want to be, but I often ask my audiences, when did women receive the right to vote and what amendment? And most women don't know. They don't know that. Wow, when did Native Americans get the right to vote? Most people don't know. When did Native Americans receive citizenship? Most people don't know. And so I'm teaching and moving around with the halo of Howard Zinn history as opposed to the history that we're taught in school, because that's the real history, the history that's not comfortable, the history that's brutal, the history that can always be seen as triumphant, but there's a brutality aspect of wiping out, over 15 million Native population in the United States. When you wipe out 98% of a population, it's genocide for the sake of the land. And whether it's then or now, it's about the land. It's about the resources. And brutality is, unfortunately, a very normal aspect of this.
Paul is spearheading the creation of Carry Forward, a new archive in Virginia dedicated to the excluded parts of history. He sees this collection as a corrective to the often sanitized narratives found in major museums.
This groundbreaking archive delves into the horrors and destruction of the past, while also shining a light on the stories of strength, perseverance, and resilience.
This has been another bonus shitpile episode of A Life Worth Working, where we showcase how even the messiest of moments can lead to remarkable futures.
For more about Paul Rucker's work, please make sure you listen to his full interview on A Life Worth Working.
And please make sure you subscribe to our podcast so that you can feel less alone in what sometimes can feel like the winding spaghetti paths of our career journeys.